The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff or management of Worldwide Digital Broadcasting Corporation.
Y'all ready for this?
Booyah! We are back. It is Wednesday, October 11th, 6 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, and time for another installment of Southern Nevada Sports News coming to you from Worldwide or WWDBTV.com. Got it. My name is Bill Miller, co-host along with
Jeff Belknap.
And with us on the line, also our co-host, none other than Brett the Hitman Price. Brett, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, he's rolling right now, folks, and we may be waiting to check in on Brett in a few minutes where he can get to a better line. But in the meantime, thank you very much for joining us as always on a Wednesday. And we got a lot to cover, and as always in a relatively short period of time. It seems like these hours just fly by.
They fly by, yeah.
They absolutely do. And I'd like to always thank our engineer and GM and Presidente, CEO, man in charge, John. How you doing, buddy? Yeah, he's under the weather. He's not feeling well, but he's here providing us with all the technology to keep this baby running.
That's right.
The show must go on, as always.
That's right.
Hectic week in sports, but, and before we kind of get to it, I'd like to, obviously still the mood here in Vegas is not exactly the greatest, but people are making do, and there's also been a lot of... I would just call in celebration of life,
right?
Around town, and I think it really sort of kicked into high gear with Friday night lights in high school football. A lot of ceremonies, going on in the valley, and I think it really kind of reached a crescendo last night at the opening game. The Vegas Knights, the brand new arena, their opening home game, I should say.
Yeah, it was big.
And it was just an unbelievable ceremony that the Knights put together. If you had a chance to see it, you could certainly go online and see it. I found myself sitting there, just when I watched it later on, the highlights of it, because unfortunately I couldn't find the channel.
But we do know the channels now.
I know it now. I've been, filled in and got the information. So.
Yep.
But watching it late last night, and it was just really very touching. Unbelievable. I don't know how they managed to get a game in afterwards, but that they did. Won, and the Knights have opened up 3-0.
Yes.
First time an expansion team has ever opened up.
Oh, it's great.
3-0.
Great to see.
And so, so it's things are, for lack of a better phrase, they are starting to get back to normal.
Yeah.
But I am finding that people are, a little bit kinder toward each other.
Yeah.
I think that, I think once people kind of took in the response from locals here, I think that really, if people ever thought that Vegas was sort of one of these jaded towns,
I think that's the perception.
And it, and to a certain degree, depending on what your goal is when you get here, it could be, but it is a relatively small town, and there is that 6 degrees of separation where you run into people who know somebody who knows somebody.
Yeah.
And so, the first responders were celebrated last night.
Yes.
And it wasn't just, from doctors to nurses to firemen to police officers to just people in general. We I think still keep those prayers coming.
The one thing that I noticed last night is, they put all the victims' names on the ice, and they also, at the same time, had all of the ticket holders inscripted on the ice.
Wow.
I didn't
know that.
Yeah, the Golden Knights are sold out to their fans and their supporters. And I'm looking at this team, and I missed the first couple goals, and obviously, I have them set on as stuff changes in the game, to send me a notification. The first notification I saw was 4-0. And then I was like, wait, how's it 4-0 already? So I went in and looked, and 4 goals in the first 10 minutes, which is completely dominant in any hockey game.
Yeah, I don't care who you are.
But knowing that it had a lot of just energy and everything that was going, beyond with the ceremonies and everything they had going on. I mean, just a lot of stuff happening, and very emotional thing at T-Mobile last night.
Indeed, and again, just to hats off to the Golden Knights staff, the ownership, the staff, the players themselves, for making it a special evening. And but it also looks like that this franchise, is put together well. And I don't want to ruin anything, by making projections, because mine tend to, they smell. So I'm going to, just say that I'm enjoying the moment.
Yeah.
I've got a Golden Knight cap, courtesy of my youngest son, Jason. Thank you very much.
Yep.
And now that I know how to peg into these things, I'll be...
So go ahead and give it the shout out. I mean, how can people find them, just in case they don't know?
If you're local, AM Radio 1340. And by the way, the next game is home game against the Detroit Red Wings.
Yep. Yeah, and I'll be there.
And our co-host will be there. He'll be there. And on Dish Network, it is 414 on Dish.
Yep. Cox
96, local 96.
Yep.
I won't mention DirecTV because I don't have it. Just kidding. Yeah. Oh, really? Jeez.
Okay. That was Brett.
Okay. Well, so anyway, so let's shall we recap last week's games, NCAA?
Yeah. Well, do you want to go NCAA? Let's go NFL first.
All righty.
So probably the biggest shocker of the day, Jacksonville.
Yeah. Did they think they were in London?
I'm not sure exactly what happened, but I know that one of the comments that that Ben Roethlisberger made was, maybe he is washed up. And it was funny because he made that comment, then the next day he's like, I'm just kidding. I'm here to play. Throws 5 picks, though. Yeah. I mean, Jacksonville's defense is really stepped up this year. And
was it? Well, you know what? It just seemed like it was almost because they sort of had that hangover from London.
Yeah.
And then they lost a game. Clearly, they probably should have won.
Mm-hmm.
And now they won a game they probably should have lost.
Oh, you would think, yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't just a way that, anybody who throws 5 picks, first of all, you're not supposed to win. I don't care who you are.
Right.
And they took advantage of them.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
That turnover differential is going to be huge. And, anytime that, you not only throw 5 picks, but then they had a fumble as well, that's going to make it very difficult for you to win a game.
Oh, that's for certain.
Yeah.
And it's, of course, probably the biggest news of the week that came out of the NFL was the injury to Odell Beckham Jr.
Yep.
A season-ending fracture. But that was really kind of summed up the game in general. They lost 2 other wide receivers.
Already, yeah.
2 ankle injuries.
So now that they have 4 total injured.
Yeah, and you could reach back to your practice squad and you could try to go out and find somebody who may be sitting on the sofa waiting for that call. But this is now a team, and aside from that, this is now a team that's 0-5.
Right.
They lost to the 0-4 Chargers. We knew somebody was going to walk away. The odds are
that was definitely going to happen.
It was going to happen, and in this case, the Chargers came back, thanks to a turnover.
Yeah.
And ended up winning that game. Clearly the cogs are coming off the wheel. And to make matters worse for Giant fans, the Jets won again.
Yes.
So the Jets are 3-2. Buffalo is 3-2. And the only other New York team is 0-5. And I think had we looked at this at the beginning of the year and you just set the circumstances, you'll have a team that's 3-2, another one is 3-2, another one's 0-5. Name those teams.
Jets would be 0-5.
The Jets would be the 0-5 team. Yeah.
And then
Buffalo would be in both conversations.
Yeah, I mean, see, the thing about Buffalo is they normally can win some games, but when it comes to the conference games, the games that they have to win, especially against the Patriots, not happening. So, they're an 8-8, like forever 8-8 team.
Yeah. And, I think that you have a 3-way tie for the AFC East.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that?
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah. And so it makes for an interesting, take on it. Of course, we're going into week 6, so this is not week 12 or week 11.
You notice that Patriots fans are not having meltdowns yet.
Not yet.
I mean, their defense is not there, but where they want to be. But
they're the Patriots.
Yeah, they're Patriots.
Yeah, it's a Bill Belichick team.
If they can get in with 9 wins, then they're the contender for the Super Bowl.
You got to watch out for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it was that same adage with the Giants. If they can make the playoffs, then you have to be worried about them.
That's right.
If they run off, given the circumstances, if they're able to run off 11 wins in a row, God bless them, because they will probably win that division.
Yeah.
The Cowboys lost again.
Very tough.
And once again, it's another Aaron Rodgers, Jerry Jones, late night ball buster, and it just seems to keep happening.
Just unbelievable. I mean, I think that's 4 or 5 straight times that they beat them.
And it's the method
right
that they're beating them, which is, it's almost like you got to say, really, seriously? I mean, this is what's going on.
Yeah, and you know what? Honestly, just watching the end of that game and thinking to myself, well, this is gonna be interesting because you're giving the ball to Aaron Rodgers,
right,
with the opportunity to beat you.
Yes.
Which is never a good idea, like for anybody.
And that never happens, does it? I mean, come on. You're only giving it to Aaron Rodgers, guy who basically, is like your kryptonite.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. The Chiefs continue. They're the only undefeated team.
Yep, continue
so
to roll.
The guys in Miami are still having to wait to pop that cork on the champagne for the 2017 season. Listen, I don't. They're not going to go undefeated.
No.
So if I'm a betting person, if you old guys down there,
well, that's the only team.
Just go ahead and pop that team.
Yeah.
Pop that champagne. I'm sorry. Just I guarantee you, I'd be willing to bet the ranch that the Chiefs are not going to go undefeated.
No, but if you remember my play last week, I was talking about how a team coming off of 57 points,
right?
How the spread was too low, for that game, and it was. So that was an easy victory for the Belknap clan. Yeah.
And at the same time, I will say this, they did put up some points.
Oh yeah.
I think they're in good hands going forward. Again, another devastating injury for J.J. Watt, and this time a fracture of the leg. He's out, probably out for the season. This is a guy that continues to get snake bit. Certainly one of the real characters of the NFL.
Yeah.
And then, of course, hats off to what he did for the city of Houston.
Oh, no, it's unbelievable.
The monies that were raised, they kept exceeding their targets and their goals. The Seahawks and Rams, for some bizarre reason, the NFL found it absolutely essential to have them play each other within 2 weeks.
Yeah. Which is crazy.
Which makes no sense whatsoever. So I think they're either discounting the thrill of what's going to happen late in the NFC West. Like, it won't be that competitive, so let's just go get these games out of the way.
But in competitive, how do you mean? Because I honestly think the way the Rams are playing that they could be competing deep into the year.
Well, this was the NFL's view.
Yeah.
Okay, because I
don't they write the script?
Well, I think they probably thought the Rams.
I thought this was like drama for men. I thought that this was like part of the deal.
I think they thought the Rams would win 3 games all year.
Yeah.
And this is an opportunity, for me, being obviously a Ram fan and having to dread last year. This is essentially that same team from last year, so you have to really look at the coaching staff as the only real difference in what Cavs face. I mean, clearly, Jeff Fisher kind of ran out his welcome, but this team is playing well. They're putting points on the board. The offense and running is in place, and the defense is playing pretty good ball too.
Yeah.
I think it's exciting because, other than the 49ers, which unfortunately it may be a while before they win their first game. They're not playing badly.
Right.
They're unfortunately playing badly enough to lose.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah, just not being able to close out, I guess, is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
But some great games this week. I mean, Philly playing Carolina should be a great game.
Yeah, battle of the 4-1s.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Carolina's going to turn it around from last year. They kind of took a year off after that 15-1 season. Definitely a great game to watch. I mean, probably one of the best Thursday games that we're going to be able to see this year.
Yeah, because we don't get very many.
Right. Most of them are just garbage.
And along with the uniform scheme.
Yeah.
I guess the
You don't
league
like the color rush?
Well, I guess the league requires them to wear one color.
Right. The color rush. Yeah.
And sometimes they can be, just kind of painful to, along with the
I like the color
along
rush,
with the football itself.
Yeah.
Okay. So
No, I mean, the overall thing I agree, but
I'm
I do
actually
like
looking
the color
forward
rush.
to tomorrow night's game, and I can't
big
say
game.
that about a lot of Thursday night games.
So what do you like in that game? Do you have any opinion on it? Or?
Yeah, I think that the Panthers right now are kind of dialed in.
Yeah.
But we'll see, because so are the Eagles.
Yeah.
Wentz is having a great year, and I think that this could either be a shootout or this could be a very low scoring, nothing in between.
Well, I think Carolina, going into the game last week against Detroit, they were giving up about 17 points a game, so their defense has been playing pretty well. Philly's kind of like, they'll give up some points, but they're just going to score more than you. So
yeah, I
think that it's going to be, if I had to take it, I probably will stay away from it, but the over would probably be my play.
And before we get into, we're already in it. So
no, let's go into the predictions.
Okay. Who you liking?
I'm just looking at these games right now. I think Detroit has got the short end of a couple of games this year. With Carolina, they played really well in that game, but had their opportunities to win. Going against your boys,
my son's
team.
Boys.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell Jay I'll bet him a dirt dog.
Okay.
Dirt dog is a hot dog joint in Vegas. I'll bet him a dirt dog that the Lions win. And if he wants some points, then we need to discuss it. But always down for a great meal. It's a far ride from you guys because you guys are way in North Las Vegas.
Well, you're never really way.
Yeah,
you're way out there.
It's
but
kind of it's a hike.
Well, for a good dog, I think we'll go anywhere.
Yeah.
All right. So that's.
So I'll throw that out there to him.
Unless it's Boulder City. Yeah, we're there.
The Jets are playing the Patriots this week.
Yep.
The Jets are literally going to be getting their butts handed to them this week. I honestly think that is going to be an absolute blowout.
Patriots are going to give them the.
Yeah. The Jets they've been fortunate because of their schedule and the way that things have worked out to have 3 wins. They're not going to come out that lucky this week. Atlanta coming off their bye week against the Dolphins.
Yeah.
I don't see them having any sort of problems in that game.
I don't either.
Especially at home. The Steelers and Chiefs game is going to be pretty interesting.
Yeah. This is either the shine is going to come off the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And the Steelers are going to, bounce back, or the Steeler fans really will have something to seriously worry about.
Right. Yeah. Well, if you go with my theories that I've been kind of throwing out the last 3 weeks, is basically a team that's like done something extraordinary or done something very poorly,
right,
has actually flipped the script the next week. I think it's a lot to have to do with money. I hate to say that. Can I say that?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that the betting side of this has a huge influence on the way that things happen. I think that the Steelers are getting too many points because of the way that they played last week. You lose at 30 points at home to Jacksonville.
Yeah.
And then next week you play the best team in the league. The average eye looking at that game is like, hey, that makes sense. They're going to blow them out. Don't be surprised Steelers win this game.
No, I wouldn't be surprised.
Don't be afraid to maybe put a little $20-$30 on the money line, just to kind of, spice up your whole day. But same thing going into Giants and Broncos. When you look at that game, that's another game that just it flares Broncos Broncos huge.
I think
no wide receivers,
huge trap game.
Yeah,
huge.
No wide receivers. They're 0-5. Stay away. Bet everything you got on the Broncos. And mortgage the house
and just have them not show up.
Right. And then the Giants come in and just
pick up their first.
Mop them up.
The ingredients are there. Let's face it. Everything was like this vaunted Giant defense that they formed in the offseason.
Oh yeah,
this was going to be the best,
which is still good.
Yeah, well,
it's not their defense that's had a problem.
Well, it's their offense too. But
Well,
at the same time, when you're asking these guys to stop somebody,
right,
they seem to be having a tough
well,
time.
the issue is that when your offense is on the field, going 3 and out, or maybe 5 plays maximum, and then the defense is right back on there, that causes some issues. So this is what I think. I think the Giants come out of nowhere, make it a game, make it a close game, possibly might win a game, last second field goal.
Here's my thing. The biggest problem is that the Broncos defense, these guys are
very good.
Very good.
Yeah.
And the offensive line for the Giants is absolutely atrocious.
Right.
There is nothing that they
You're saying under.
I'm saying under.
You're actually saying under.
And I'm saying that the Broncos are going to win.
Yeah.
And Eli very well could get hurt. And the only reason I say that is because these guys, they know that this is a very weak offensive line.
Right.
They're going to blitz like crazy because they know that he has minimal wide receiver staff that they'll be able to, piece together this week. And I think this could get ugly really, really fast. And I think at some point they probably pull him just to keep him, his spirits from completely deteriorating. And knowing that, they're going to have to seriously look at a, draft pick, going high in the draft. I'm not saying this is going to be a suck for someone.
Yeah.
But if they don't win a lot of games, I don't think that people in the Giant hierarchy are going to be so disappointed.
No.
They're
that's a draft pick.
It's a draft pick, and they have to look at that now. Really, the first time seriously look at.
Yeah.
And I mean,
who is their backup anyway? Do you have any idea?
No earthly idea. No idea. I mean,
because we only think of Eli.
Eli doesn't. He doesn't miss a lot of games.
That's right.
For starters, he has been tough, but I've never seen anybody get this sacked and knocked down as much as he has in these first 5 games. And they're coming from the right. They're coming from the left. He sees them coming. There's just not a lot he can do. He can try and get rid of it. There's just not a lot he can do.
Yeah. Well, when you don't have a rush game, that's unfortunately the downside of that, and it's just tough.
Another interesting game I see popping up, and again, this would have been much different take on this 3 weeks ago. Chargers and Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because E.J. Manuel, he's trying. I will say that he's trying. But I think this is an opportunity for the Chargers to get back really quick in this, because the way the Chiefs and the Broncos are playing right now, if you don't start winning now, it's a 2-horse race.
Yeah.
And with the Raiders, unfortunately, they have got to stay very, very close. But I think that win for the Chargers lost last week. I kind of see this as more of an even match. But the fact that they pulled out that win.
Yeah.
And honestly, hats off to Phillip Rivers. This guy
guy's
just
a beast.
Continues to get it done.
Yep.
And he doesn't have a lot of weapons, but he is, he continues to go out there on the grind, take a licking, and just keeps on ticking.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Rivers. He's always been a guy that's like just shown up week after week. He makes his mistakes, but most of the time he's like keeping you in the game. He's given that you the opportunity to come down at the end of the game, and that's what he did this week.
Yeah. Let's see, Colts and the Titans.
Monday night
game.
If Mariota plays, they blow him out.
Absolutely, and again, that's the difference in those 2 games. What is the latest on Luck? I know
the last I heard, it's possible that he could start. That will make a line move if he does start, but. I think to me, even with Luck, I think Tennessee's a better team. They haven't been able to put together. They haven't been able to win the big games. We'll see what happens on Monday.
Yeah, divisional game too, and of course, that division is going to be very tight this year, probably with the exception of the Colts. Rams and Jaguars. Again, 2 surprising teams, both 3-2, and it's a long ways to go. They always that whole coastal thing, and it's but it is an afternoon game.
Yep.
So I'll at least give them that. It's not a morning game. I like the Rams, and I like the Rams winning that game.
Yeah. Well, I think Jacksonville's a fugazi is the best way to put it. And the thing is, the thing is, I look across the field and I'm thinking Fugazi.
Fugazi.
So I really don't know how to take that game at all. If I had to take it, I would take the Rams. Probably a game I'll stay away from.
Yeah. Browns and Texans. Browns 0-5 and not looking good. And they've already made a quarterback change.
Yep.
This is, I think, their 33rd quarterback since they moved back to Cleveland.
Is it really 33rd?
I think it's 32nd or 33rd, man. You almost nailed it.
I just threw that out there. I didn't realize. And, I know he did well. Well, I think it was like 15-17 in the second half of that game. So I don't know. They're not a team I really watch. I mean, if I'm doing anything, I'm betting against them. And if I did anything in this game, I'd bet against them as well. But
yeah, it's a crazy game because now you have, of course, Watt out, and he's kind of the heart and soul of that defense. It's. I don't know. I would just take the Texans just on GP.
Yeah. I would just stay away from that game myself.
Bears and Ravens. Ravens look like a whole different team.
I think the Ravens are better than. It all boils down to quarterback play. The 2 games where the quarterback has played bad, they lost. The 3 games that he's played decent, they won. So I really think it boils down to how does Flacco play? Yeah. And then the Bears. I mean, they're literally the Bears. I mean, they find ways to lose games, and I actually thought that they had a chance to win that game in Minnesota or against Minnesota on Monday.
I mean, he's a young guy. This is his first game, and I think that once you kind of get over the speed, which is something you just simply can't replicate in practice. Then it'll start to kind of kick in, and you can just start, going through your progressions. And I think he'll play better. Yeah. He clearly has skills, or he wouldn't be in the NFL. I'm not sure about that. But anyway, I think the Ravens win. I think Flacco is kind of, gotten hopefully his worst games out of the way.
Let me ask you this. Did you see the trick plays by Chicago this past week? Okay. So one of them was a fake punt that they scored a touchdown on, which was a great play. The other one was actually a handoff option where actually quarterback scored a touchdown off the option, which was a good play. Yeah. I mean, they were both pretty good plays. I mean, you plays you don't see often in the NFL. I mean, the fake field goal, fake punts you see in the NFL. The fake handoff option quarterback scores a touchdown you don't see in the NFL too much.
No, you don't.
Big touchdown for the Trib, getting a rushing touchdown.
Redskins hosting the Niners. Niners still.
Niners still 0-5, but 2-3 against the spread. They had a big chance to win that game last week and keep it up. I mean, the Niners have only been out of one game, which was the first game of the year. They lost 20-0. Other than that, I mean, they've been pretty solid. So. Not a team that I necessarily want to bet against, just because you never know, because they've really put themselves in the position to win. Yeah. Redskins coming off a bye. You never know what could happen coming off a bye.
You never know what Redskins team is going to show up.
True.
Either, and let's see, Packers and Vikings.
Big game. The quarterback is obviously an issue in Minnesota. Yeah. Bradford's probably not going to play. I mean, he took a big shot in that Bears game and went out. And I did hear Bridgewater is practicing, so they're kind of looking at him, see when he's going to be able to come back. But
not soon enough.
Case Keenum came in, he threw a couple touchdowns. I really honestly can't see how they can compete against the Packers. So Packers go 5-1.
Okay. And, we talked about the Eagles and the Panthers, so that really kind of wraps it up for the NFL. So let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll switch gears and then go into NCAA football.
Let's do it.
Southern Nevada Sports News coming to you from WWDBTV.com. We'll be right back.
Crazy Terry here with your car care tip of the day. Today's tips on cooling systems. This vehicle's got about 182,000 miles on it, so if you're checking the coolant, check the hoses too. Just feel them and see if they're soft or any signs of fatigue for the mileage on it. They don't feel bad. They look like they're still the original hose, but you want to make sure you don't go too long with these hoses because they will eventually deteriorate, cause a problem. In this case, this car's got a visible leak. The customer brought it to us. We'll pop the hood and check the cooling system. First, we just relieve any pressure that might be on the cap, remove the cap, take a look inside. We see it's kind of low. Now we'll start our inspection. What we found on this one is the top tank is leaking. It's got a crack in it. Pretty common for these plastic radiators to do that. I want to get to a shop right away because severe engine damage can result from overheating condition like this. In this case, it was pretty easy to see the crack was right on the top tank, but a lot of times we'll have to pressurize the system to locate the exact leak. Could be a hose in the back, could be underneath. Some of these are hard to find, but in this case, a very common leak, the top tank. When we're testing a cooling system, it's okay to use just water, but you want to make sure when you're filling it up properly, it's a 50-50 mix of antifreeze and water. It needs the water to make the chemical work, so don't just put straight antifreeze. 50-50 mix is the best way to go. Keep it clean, keep it rust-free. So as you can see, we got a pretty active leak. You got to get this fixed, or there's going to be some engine problems. If you're going to top off your own coolant, it's really not that hard. If you got a radiator cap, just make sure it's not hot. Take the cap off and take a look. In this case, we're pretty full here, but what we have is the overflow jugs empty. So we'll just add that. Once again, check your manufacturer's specs to make sure what type of coolant you have. In this case, we're using the good old green. There's gold, there's red, there's yellow, all types out there. Just want to make sure you're staying with your manufacturer recommended coolant. And that's really all there is to it. The cooling system is a major component. You'll want to service that regularly. If you have a problem, it could be too late and cost you thousands of dollars. If ever you have a problem, come into Sun Valley Automotive. It's no charge to look at your cooling system. This is Crazy Terry with your car care tip of the day.
Booyah! We are back for the knockout round. Southern Nevada Sports News coming to you from WWDBTV.com. My name is Bill Miller, along with
Jeff Belknap.
And if you just missed us, we recapped the NFL for week 5. I'm sorry, week 4? Yeah, week 5. Week 4. Week 5. Got it. And, of course, we also had Jeff's predictions for the upcoming week 6.
Yep.
Now we're switching gears, and it's time to recap NCAA football. Probably the big upset of the week, Iowa State.
Unbelievable.
Were they 30-point favorites?
I don't think it was quite 30-point favor, was it?
Well, it was close enough. It's close enough for them to, make this probably, unfortunately, a certain network's bottom 10.
Well, I can tell you this, that it made no sense that for Oklahoma to lose that game. And when I saw it getting close, I was like, wow, I mean, are they really going to lose at home?
Yeah.
To Oklahoma or to Iowa State. And then the one thing that I saw, I don't know if you saw, was the guy plant the flag.
Yeah. And you know what?
I guess that's a new thing.
I think if you're Iowa State, this is apparently the first time they've beaten Oklahoma in a long time. You got to celebrate the moment.
Yeah.
I don't blame them one bit. I don't think it was just a sort of like, I give you this to the Oklahoma team for, their Mayfield stunt up in the horseshoe. But I do think that if you're an Iowa State player and you win in Norman, you got to celebrate some kind of way. And I don't think it's a big deal.
Yeah.
But I think that it's, again, now what I know and what I suspect, when I know they clearly lost this game, what I suspect, I think they were looking ahead to the Red River rivalry.
Yeah.
This is, I think, the 114th meeting of Oklahoma and Texas.
This week,
which also means it's Texas Fair time, folks, if you're down there in the State Fair time.
Right.
Yeah. But I think that maybe that had something to do with it. But I think, again, it's a game they probably should have won.
Yeah.
Clearly should have
won.
Well,
this I don't think this game this week is going to be close at all. I mean, if I had to take it, I would take the under just because it seems like a lot of points for these two teams. And, yeah.
Do you think that rivalry has anything to do with this game?
Well, I think
just in terms of maybe keeping this thing close.
I think that Oklahoma definitely has something to prove after what happened last week. So
right.
I think that they need to come out and firing on all cylinders. So if they can, and they probably will run up the score against Tech. I mean, score as many points as they can.
I think it's one of those games, if you get your foot on the throat, you keep it there.
I'm just more concerned a little bit about Texas offense, yeah.
Yeah, and of course the big rivalry game last week. Yeah, Michigan State.
Oh, and
Michigan.
I thought you were going to say Miami and Florida State.
That one too.
Great game, and hats off to Michigan State's defense. I mean, good job, hitting the quarterback Spithe while he was on the ground and knocking him out for the season. I mean, very classy, but expected, I guess.
Very sad to see that.
Yeah.
I mean, and this guy's a senior to boot.
Yeah.
I mean, so essentially,
he'll be selling cars next year.
Let's just say certainly his college career is over.
More than likely.
More than likely over. And I don't know what prospects he had as far as the NFL is concerned.
I mean, he's just basically going to be a combine guy, and
that, and head up north,
yep.
And then maybe see what it bodes for you. But I think he's a senior, and
yep.
I mean that's just and again, it wasn't a really cool play either.
No,
to say the least.
Well, I'm looking at this moving forward. I mean, coming off the loss. I mean, I was actually shocked when I saw the opening line for the Indiana game, which is Michigan minus 5.5
mm-hmm.
at Indiana, and I immediately jumped on that just because I'm thinking, as a Michigan guy, I watch the team pretty closely. O'Korn is a solid quarterback, but it's not like he's like a step down. I mean, this was like up until the very first game of the year.
Yeah,
like they never announced who they were going to play as a starting quarterback when they played Florida. I mean, it went literally down to game day to see who was going to come out and play. So, everyone's like, oh, there's their backup quarterback. This is literally the guy that was fighting for their starting position up until the day before their opening game.
Right.
So to see the spread, it opened at 5.5, I jumped on it immediately. I think the last time I saw it was at 7. They beat Indiana by like 28 points. Indiana's not a good team. Their defense, Michigan's defense, is going to shut down Indiana. And I'm not saying this because I'm a Michigan fan. Indiana doesn't have a whole lot happening. They'll be lucky to score. If they're lucky, they'll score 13 points, 13 points, somewhere around there. Michigan blows them out. And when I say blow them out, is they're going to make a statement in this game. Coming off a loss in Michigan State, I don't think it's going to be any problems with it whatsoever.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to some of the still undefeated and teams that are contending for, the playoff spots. Alabama, a very close game with Texas A&M.
Yep.
I mean, and in a way, I was glad to see Texas A&M kind of hold their own and not get clobbered. But could have been a winnable game, which means at least they kept it close, low scoring. I don't know if you had the over on that game. Or,
no.
Yeah.
I try to stay away from Alabama.
Yeah. Me too.
Because most of the time I want them to lose.
Yeah, I think that's.
So I'm always rooting against them. But
Clemson continues to be unbeaten.
Be a good team.
Tough game against Wake Forest, though.
Yep.
I mean, again, Wake Forest made a very good game of it. Then you have, Georgia, who continues to.
I like Georgia.
Looking really
good.
And really put these games away.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no ifs, no ands, no buts about them.
Yep.
Well,
preseason, we discussed a little bit about, Georgia and, they're being able to basically be a competitive team
right.
in SEC. And they've kind of shown that they're not only going to be competitive, but they're going to, do their best to win big. I like them. I like Georgia a lot. I like the way that they're, putting these games together.
Yeah, and a game that I think that was one of the Dirty Dozen from last week. I think it was Louisville.
Yep.
Over NC State. NC State ended up winning that game and kind of handedly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Louisville had their opportunities, but they just couldn't, put it in the end zone when they needed to, and it's one of those situations.
Yeah. So let's get your predictions for this week before we get into this week's Dirty Dozen.
Well, obviously, my number one play this week is going to be Michigan. Michigan will absolutely win big. I mean, you can pretty much take that game to the bank. I mean, there's no reason why whatsoever that this game should be less than double digits. They easily win by 10 points or more.
Right.
Probably win by 3 touchdowns or more, but I mean that's my number one play. I really like Southern Cal to come back. They're playing the Utah team that's a good, solid home team, but I really think that SC is they're laying 11 points in that game. They should easily cover that points. And then Colorado State, man. I'm sorry, Colorado. Oregon, is literally one of the worst teams that I've seen. Oregon State, I'm sorry, is
Yeah, I was gonna
literally
say.
one of the worst teams that I've seen.
Yeah.
They are literally going to get just mollywopped week after week in the Pac-12. They've already been beat badly
Well, didn't
several
they
times.
also fire their coach?
They fired their coach.
Yeah. So this is essentially this is as far as the coaching staff is concerned, this is an 0-0 team.
Right.
They start from here, kind of draw a line in the sand. And obviously, as far as the players are concerned, it's about getting into the starting lineup.
Yeah.
So I think that Oregon State plays better, but you're right, they're going to get their hash.
They just honestly just don't have the talent to be able to match up. Going back to a little bit with that Oklahoma game, I think the Oklahoma, coming off that loss, laying 7 points in Texas, they have a lot to prove. I think they come back firing on all cylinders.
They absolutely have a lot
I can't
to prove.
see that
they cannot afford to lose 2 games.
No.
Or they've effectively have put themselves out of the hunt, for any kind of a playoff run, unless all these other teams decide to start dropping games left and right. And I don't see that happening.
Yep.
The way that they seem to be rolling right now.
Yep.
Yeah. So you're right. I think Oklahoma comes back. I would like to see Texas win, only because they're the underdogs.
Yeah. I don't see that happening. I don't see them losing back-to-back weeks.
Yeah.
The other game that is literally my favorite, I love to bet against Arizona State's defense.
Yes, you do.
They're playing Washington this week, which is a Washington team that can put up points.
A lot of
the
points.
game opened at 62 and a half or ish, whatever. It's down to 56. People are actually betting this game under. Washington scores 50. You just have to wonder if
Arizona State can muster up.
If they can score.
Yeah.
And I think that they can. I think that their defense is good enough to score. That game goes over easily. The game that absolutely blows my mind. We talked last week about San Jose State and how bad that they are.
Yeah.
Right. They lose again. They don't cover against Fresno, which was expected. But Hawaii goes to a Reno team that is absolutely poor, loses by 14 points. Now they're laying 17 points in Hawaii. And I'm thinking to myself, you lose to Reno, which basically means that you're garbage, and you're playing another garbage team. Can you lay 17 points to somebody? I mean, seriously, think about it that way.
Okay, is that one of those ones where people are just sort of like, I gotta put something down?
Yeah, they're just like,
here it is.
Okay, so we're thinking San Jose State's a really bad team. Hawaii, let's just make it 17. It just makes no sense whatsoever. So we got the Dirty Dozen from Brett.
Okay.
This is my first look at it. I can't even see it that good, actually.
Yeah. Okay.
Brett's like testing my eyes over here. So let's.
All right. Woo. Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Okay. All right. So
So you keeping track over there?
Yeah. Hang on a second.
Okay. Here we go.
Let's see. BP.
Oh, look, he's jumping right down to the Big Ten with these ones.
KB.
Okay. First one we got.
Okay.
Northwestern and Maryland.
Right.
I think both of these teams are pretty evenly matched. Maryland's got a little bit better record because they played a favorable schedule. I'm going to take Northwestern.
Okay. And what is
Brett has Northwestern.
Okay. I'm going to also go with Northwestern.
Okay. So second game we have Rutgers at Illinois.
Illinois.
Oh, wow. He went.
Is he going with Rutgers?
Okay, so just to share with people that are watching this, Rutgers has never won a Big Ten game. They're not going to win this week.
No, they're not.
I'm going to Illinois. I think we're Illinois across the board.
Illinois across the board. Okay. We have Texas Tech. Is that Texas Tech?
Texas Tech at West Virginia. I'm going over. No, actually, West Virginia played a really good game last week. Mm-hmm. I watched a little bit of that game. I don't see Texas Tech is not a good road team. I'm going to take West Virginia.
Okay. Yeah. I'm.
I got to look at.
I'm going to go with Texas Tech on that one.
I just want to make sure I go against him every once in a while. So he's on West Virginia. The way I had my phone set up, I couldn't see it. So okay. So next game, Wyoming at Utah State.
Yep.
I really thought Utah State was a better team going into last week. They didn't really do a great job scoring against Colorado State. I do think at home they're a better team. Wyoming still has a quarterback that you're not hearing a lot about, but you will be hearing a lot about when they get into the the drafting and the and the combines and everything. I'm going to take Utah State though.
Okay, and I'm going to go with Wyoming.
Oh, he's going Utah State too. Maybe I should block this out. Okay, so UCLA at Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just wondering, your boy's going to show up?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Their defense has been so poor. I mean, how can you even take a team that's just defensively just like inept?
I think at a certain point, this is always kind of a rivalry game too.
Yeah.
It's going way back to to the Pac-10 days.
Yeah.
And I just think that I'm going to go with UCLA.
Okay, I'm going to take UCLA with you.
Okay.
And then Brett's got Zona.
Zona.
Yep.
Okay.
Vandy and Ole Miss. I mean, Ole Miss, man, what a disappointing season they've had so far.
Mm-hmm.
Vandy's been, playing in a lot of games that they probably shouldn't have, with the exception of the Alabama game that they got routed 45-0.
Yeah, and they're still a 500 team in the SEC.
What is the spread on that game anyway? Mississippi -3. I'm gonna take Ole Miss at home. I think Vandy's kind of expended their luck this year.
Yeah, I'm going to also go with Ole Miss, and Brett took Vandy.
Then we got Navy and Memphis. Man, what a great game that should be. I mean, Memphis has really kind of shown out. Navy's just as what everyone's expected to happen. I'm going to take Memphis, and only because they're the home team.
Okay.
Not because I don't think they're the better team. I really honestly think Navy's the better team.
Yeah.
But I think that Memphis is going to win this game because they're at home.
Yeah, I'm going to take Navy, and Brett also took Navy.
Okay, New Mexico and Fresno. I mean, why do you even put this game on there? Like, seriously, what? Let me go ahead, Bill. Go ahead and talk for a second because I got to find this because I'm thinking to myself,
okay.
Fresno -2.5. Wow, what a bunch of garbage offense that game should be. This game will literally get a 0.5 on the ratings in this week. I mean, if that, probably 0.2.
And that's if there's enough people in either of those schools' territories to be actually watching this game.
Think about this. I mean, who is going to be even watching this game? Who in Fresno?
People in Fresno aren't even going to be watching this game.
And there's nothing else happening in Fresno.
No, they're not going to be watching this
Okay, so I'm going to take Fresno, actually, just because I said that.
Okay. I'm going to also take Fresno, and Brett took
New Mexico. Okay, on to the pros, man. He just jumped right off. Went for the big dogs. Philly at Carolina.
Let's see. Ooh.
What do you think about that?
Carolina. I think Carolina also is going to win. I think that right now they're kind of rolling. They're executing. And again, I think it's going to be a relatively close game. I agree with you. I think that I don't think this is necessarily going to be a high-scoring game.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with Carolina.
I'm taking Philly.
Okay.
L.A. Rams versus at Jacksonville.
I got to go with the Rams. I think they're playing really good ball right now. They always have a tough time against Seattle scoring points, but they don't give up a lot of points against Seattle either.
Yep.
2 weeks ago was the same thing. The final was 12-9 or something
Yep.
like that. I'm going to go with the Rams. I think that Jacksonville is one of those Jekyll and Hyde teams. We saw the Dr. Jekyll in London, Mr. Hyde. They laid an egg the following week. Dr. Jekyll up in Pittsburgh, and I think they go back to normal.
I think they're a complete fugazi.
Gazi.
I'm going Rams.
Clams. And Brett
He took Jacksonville. Okay, and we have no idea where the standings are, but I'm clearly probably in the lead. No, I'm just kidding, man. Because we haven't got an update in a couple weeks, but we will have an update for you next week, I promise. Okay, so next one, Pittsburgh at Kansas City.
Mm-hmm. We talked about this.
I'm calling shenanigans on this whole game. I'm saying Pittsburgh comes out with the win.
Yeah, I've got to go with KC. It's my AFC team. Family.
You got the family and everything going there.
Yeah, and then of course rounded up with my other team, Tampa Bay Bucks. At Zona.
I think Arizona's completely washed up.
I think they are too, and getting Adrian Peterson is not going to help matters.
Well, actually, you know what? I think that it's fitting that AP go to Arizona, because I think that's where running backs go to end their careers.
For whatever reason, yeah. I mean, just ask Emmitt Smith. I mean,
Edgerrin James.
Yeah, they just that's where they go. It's a nice retirement. You know,
great weather. I mean, they got a beautiful city.
Yeah.
There's, I mean, yeah.
What's not to like?
No sales tax.
Yeah, just no
state
line
tax.
if you're a declining running back.
You know, I honestly think that AP will be better because the offense in Arizona is more suited towards getting the running back into the flats, getting them into place. AP's always been a guy that's been able to catch the ball and run the ball. I think he's actually going to do better than people think.
Well, he can't do worse than his short stint in New Orleans.
I mean, the thing about it is, in Adrian Peterson's mind, he's still the best back on the field. So when you put him in a backup role against guys that are younger and really aren't as good as him, I mean, if you really look at talent-wise, they're really not as good as him. Now you're going to put him in a position where he is literally the best back on the field.
Featured back. He is.
I honestly think that he's going to do well. And that's not to slight some of the younger backs that are in Arizona.
It's just that it's an opportunity for him to be the featured back.
Which I think he's going to do well at.
Yeah. Well, he'll certainly get more carries.
So,
he'll certainly get more yards.
I think we have, Tampa Bay across the board on that last one?
I think so.
Yeah.
All
yeah,
right.
There's no way that Arizona goes 500 this year.
All right. We've got just a couple of minutes. 4?
3 minutes.
Okay, 3. All right.
You want to talk some baseball? Let's see what the score is right now.
We'll talk the latest score, and then I have
3-0 Yankees.
Ooh. Okay. I don't want to. Okay.
Well, I'll tell you that. 3-1 now.
There you go. All right.
Wait, what just happened here? Oh, we got a single.
Well,
And we got a running in. We got first and third. With the single.
Washington won 5-0. Just to recap, so it is a game 5 in DC, and right now it's 3-1 bottom of the 5th Yankees.
Yep.
We only have a couple of minutes, and before we leave, I have absolutely, positively have got to hammer away at United States men's soccer team.
I knew he was going to go there.
I am 60 years old, folks, and I remember the dark old days. They're trying to find a game to absolutely watch, and just simply not having the avenues, and then literally having to just find information in the newspaper later on, or just watching the news and that sort of thing. But this was an absolute shoe-in. It was the ESPN had a 92%. They were playing Trinidad and Tobago. Let that sink in. I didn't even say, okay, this is large. I happened to be at a Mexican restaurant. They had on Honduras and Mexico. That station then suddenly went to 3 other locations, Costa Rica and Panama, and then also the Trinidad and Tobago in the United States. And I happened to look up and I saw 2-1. And I figured, okay. And then I realized, wait a minute. They're losing 2-1. I said, okay, don't panic. I did. I got the rest of what I was eating to go because I didn't want to look at it. I said, by the time I get home, this will all rectify itself. Wrong. This is an absolute, positively disaster for soccer, men's soccer.
Yep, in the U.S.
It has been 32 years, 1986 Cup, that they have not qualified for a World Cup. I'm 60 years old. I remember that. And this was not even supposed to be close. The fact that they lost on a really, awful pitch in Trinidad and Tobago in front of literally an empty stadium.
Nobody.
Yeah, nobody. Because I think the fans there even didn't want to go out there and see them get waxed.
Right.
Because that's usually what happens in Trinidad and Tobago. It's not only that, the reaction from Bruce Arenas is nothing short of appalling. We really don't need to make very many changes here. Now, I'm paraphrasing. It was along those lines. But if I'd had a brick in my hand,
3-2 now.
Just the fact that I respect my technology and my furnishings and my equipment.
Because the new phone is $600.
Yeah, This is absolutely mind-boggling, and this, you have players who are playing on the men's team who were playing at the top divisions in European and Latin leagues. So you have the talent is clearly there. But this is, and we now have 4 years to get there again where we are today, to find out if, in fact, they're going to make it. Whoever inherits this job, and rest assured, there's a new coach on the way, and new coaches on the way. They've got a lot to do. All we can do is hold our nose, watch next year's World Cup. I don't have a dog in the fight. Now, fortunately, I'll find a country to root for. And right now, my pick is Iceland. Iceland, with a population the size of Odessa, Texas.
That's right.
Made the World
Qualified.
Cup. Let that
so
sink
great.
in. The United States, with 300 million people, we didn't make the World Cup. And that is my, I'll just let that sink
That's
in.
a rant. That's a rant.
Join us next Wednesday. I'll probably be in a better mood. I doubt that. 6 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time for another installment of Southern Nevada Sports News coming to you from WWDBTV.com. God bless and have a great week.
God bless.